Hey up! Come on! Let's have it! Alright! Mash Baxter's rambling, whoa, whoa. Mash Baxter's rambling, whoa, whoa. Mash Baxter's rambling, stuff to see and songs to sing, whoa. Alright!
Hey, now then, Ramblers, didn't see you there. Oh, we're out and about. Son's got his hat on, so have I. Got to keep the sunroof, you know what I mean? Don't need that getting burnt, do you? So today, I will be mostly nipping back down. That's when they go back in time. I'll see what I can do with that in post-edit. We're going back in time, down memory lane, to school. Oh, yes. Not been there for a while. I wasn't there that much anyway. So I'm going to go back and talk you through 2 life lessons that have served me well to this day. Okay? So come on, let's get cracking. Hey, hey, hey. All of them. We're here. But where are we? I'll show you where we bloody are. We're at Winterton. Yeah, and when you grew up here, there's no T's in it. It's Winterton. Otherwise known as Winterton. Twinned with Saffray. Why the fuck is that? Anyway, come on. We've got some schooling to do. Life lessons. So, it was 1978, and I was at junior school. I was at this junior school. And way back then, none of these gates was here, but roughly right where that car park is, there was a porter cabin, all right? And we was having a lesson with Mr. Keith Leedham. Now, Keith looked a bit like Yoffie off Fingerbobs, yeah? So he always wore a PE kit as well. Can't remember what his exact lesson of expertise was. However, this particular day, let's just pull this back. So this particular day, Keith comes in and he says, right, put your pads away, put your books away. And he gave us all one sheet of paper, one sheet of A4 paper. And he says, right, I'm going to put a record on, because he had a portable record player with him. That was a thing. You wouldn't even know what a record is. So he gets the record player out and he pulls very precisely and delicately an album out of its sleeve. Now, the album was fresh out, and it was something called The War of the Worlds. Yeah. Which was a musical adaptation of the H.G. Wells classic. So Keith says, right, I'm going to put this album on. He says, all I want you to do is write down what you're thinking. Write down the imagery that comes into your mind. So you think, bit weird. I'll go with it, because you're 10. You're quite happy. You're not doing classwork. So fast forward to the end of the lesson. And what Keith did, he went round, he collected everybody's sheets. But this was the lesson it taught me. So you're in a lesson of, 25 kids of varying intelligence. Me being one of the brightest, obviously. But nobody's interpretation was better than anybody else's. Now that was remarkable, because at school, everything's taught to produce people on the higher stratum, to produce people more intelligent, to bully the ones that weren't as intelligent. Oh no, not for Keith's lesson. So that was lesson 1. And Mr. Leedham, who's still around, I salute you, sir. I was going to take my cap off, but I've got the microphone on it. So Keith Leedham, brilliant. Top bloke, and a teacher of life. Look at this geezer here, look. What's he looking at? What's he looking at? I'll tell you what he's looking at. He went to the same school as me, the same junior school. And he is, have a read, he is Mr. Wallace Sargent, yeah? He grew up in Winterton and became Professor of Astronomy at the Californian Institute of Technology. And he was an outstanding astronomer with a distinguished career. Brilliant. Wallace Sargent and me in the same school. Yeah? Him looking up to the heavens. And me as well, thinking, looking chemtrails everywhere. There he is. Top bloke. There's no wonder I'm as special as I am, is there? Coming from stock like that. Cheers, Wallace. So this was one of my last life lessons from school. This room here was the headmaster's office, okay? And the lesson that I got taught that day was, if you're going to borrow something that isn't yours, you might get caught. So picture it. Yeah. Police were called. I'll not go into it too much. The police were called. 3 of us were arrested, okay? The copper only had 1 pair of handcuffs. So he handcuffed me to me mate and grabbed the other mate by the scruff of the neck and led us out of that door there. So, come on, let's have a look. Yes. The last day I spent at this school was leaving that door in a pair of handcuffs, walking out to all the kids hanging out of them windows up there, giving it whacker. And we got led down here to the waiting police car and got put in Scunthorpe cells for the afternoon. But at least we missed double maths. Win, win, win. You can't believe it, can you? So I pulls up up at the comprehensive school. Yeah, not the academy, no, the fucking comprehensive. And I gets my camera out and I'm filming a little bit, and this bloke pops his head out. He says, "Excuse me, mate, can I help you?" I says, "Oh yeah." I says, I came to this school. I'm just doing a bit of a video on life lessons." And he looked at me like he knew me. Anyway, transpires we did kind of know each other, and we've met on a couple of occasions. However, he says, "Do you want to come in and have a look?" What? The last time I was in that school, as you know, is the day that I got arrested and led out, which was around about 1984 or 85. So we just spent a good hour plus going in all the classrooms. Fucking weird. The gymnasium still smells like the gymnasium. But like I said to him, that's maybe a kid's gymnasium thing, and I bet if you drop me off in a gymnasium in fucking Belgium, it would smell the same. It's a gymnasium smell, isn't it? Yeah. Sweat and anxiety and depression because I can't climb a rope or I can't get on top of the vaulting horse. You know that smell. But that was amazing. So I'm going to do a bit of a special on the old school and one or two stories. Because, yeah, he let me in every room. Smashing bloke. So thanks for that. Good old caretaker. Yeah. Best caretaker at Winterton Compt since Fred Balderson. Right. Need to get back and do the final part of my life lessons at Winterton. What a day! Unbelievable. So today was all about my life's lessons and where they were administered, where they were taught, why they were taught, what they taught me. But to be allowed into comprehensive school is just mental. It was a roller coaster of emotions that I never expected. Half of them. Letting me in all the individual rooms. And God, I remember that there. That's still there. And it was just weird. Weird, but exciting. Yeah, it was like, I said to the guy, top bloke as well, thank you for letting me in. It was like I was an urban explorer, but I wasn't actually breaking in, you know what I mean? So, really importantly, if you look at this room here in particular, okay, so only people of my generation or slightly after will recognise this room. Now, this room here was the domain of one Mr. Tony Fell. Now, Tony Fell was a biology teacher, and a biology teacher of note. Very, very good. He was a large stature, massive booming voice. Large stature, but not as in he wasn't a fat bloke. No, he was just very thick set, well built. But the biggest booming voice you've ever heard, but never raised it. Certainly not in anger. Now, going back to 1984, I'd like to say 83, 84. It's fair to say I was a twat at school. No two ways about it. I hated school. School didn't particularly like me. And at that time, my mum and dad had split up. Yeah, shit happens. It happened to loads of people back then. It was a thing. But it gave me carte blanche to be a bigger dick than normal. I just thought, bit of a get out of jail free card here. So I was being particularly boisterous, unruly, just a juvenile delinquent. But Tony Fell he noticed that I was being slightly more disruptive than normal. And he took me to one side. Now, this was nothing at all to do with biology. He took me to one side and he said, I notice you really, really like football, because my dad used to take us to watch Leeds. And if I wasn't watching Leeds, I'd be watching Scunny. And I says, yeah, I love Scunny, sir. And what he did was very clever, very clever. He took me to one side and he says, how would you like to help me initially, but then you can run it on your own? How would you like to train and take the first year as their football manager? And I was like, really? I'm a fucking idiot. And he says, no, I just think you'd enjoy it. Now, I did it, and I did absolutely enjoy it. I didn't take it very serious or for very long. However, the point is, a biology teacher chose to teach me a lesson in life that was fucking nothing to do with biology at all. He was a people person. He loved sport. He saw that I loved sport. But he gave me something for however long I fancied doing. He gave me something to focus on and to concentrate and stop being a fucking idiot around the school. But he didn't have to do that. No other teacher showed an interest in what I cared about, what I was interested in. No, they just sent you off to the headmaster to get a stick or detention or whatever, but not Tony. Now, so I noticed recently that Tony sadly died this year. So I went to Tony's funeral and it was bloody lovely. It was one of the nicest ceremonies, and fuck knows I've been to enough recently, but it was one of the nicest ceremonies musically. I learned so much about Tony during the funeral that I never knew. And everything was full circle back to him being a real people person. This was what was put out at the funeral. And it's just lovely. Look at him. Cheeky little grin. And he was a Riddings lad. So I just wanted to say to a proper humanitarian in my book, yeah, Tony did more for me in one conversation than in all the 5 years I spent at Winterton Comprehensive. So I will be having a drink for you later, and I'm sure I'm not on my own. I've spoke to one or two other people and they all say, yeah, top, good bloke. He invested time in people, and more importantly, me. And it was nothing to do with the curriculum, what you taught. No. So once again, Mr. Tony Fell, I salute you, sir, and thank you for what you did for me at that period in time. So I hope you've enjoyed that. It was a proper old trip down memory lane. Learnt some stuff that I didn't even know myself. That astronomer, woo, old stargazer, you know what I mean? If I was at school and I was looking like that, it's because I was daydreaming you'd a clip round the fucking head. He ends up being a professor. Right, we'll catch you all again soon, Ramblers. Don't forget to spread the gospel, spread the word, and let's get out amongst it. All right. Thanks a lot, peeps. Laters. Cheers, T.